with the finger over the end of the seal. Good seal if it won't compress. See? Let's poke it back in there. Let's get on with the reassembly, don't we? Alright. Sit it back in there. The cylinder head, this bit here, has locating lugs, so you can't really get that in the wrong place. That locates in there, cylinder locates there, tappet plate locates there, lobe's in the correct position. Make sure that the piston is on the piston rails, okay? Just use your head, use your common sense, make sure it's on the rails. And obviously, if it's not on the rails, then it's going to jam, and you're going to mash the gears and stuff, and it's not pretty. Alright, make sure the wires are in the right place. Make sure the anti-reverse latch is seated. Now, notice how we haven't had any problems with the anti-reverse latch pinging out or the trigger pinging out. It's due to the new design. Also, the trigger block here is slightly longer, so we've got a much longer arm here going on with the trigger. It's just nice. The gears are much wider. Yeah, a little cutout here in case you get a jam, you can just sort of poke things down. Overall, very cool. Right, see how we talked about the shims earlier? Make sure you locate the shims back on the gears. So we've got shim on that, shim on that, shim on that. We know all the shims are in the place that they were originally. So there's no need to re-shim here because we haven't changed the bushings, we haven't changed the bearings or anything like that. It's literally as it was. So we've gone in, we've taken the piston out, we've twisted it off, we've taken the original spring off, we've put it back on, we've made sure the seals are okay, and as we left them, you know, found them. And now literally locating hole there, just put it on and watch the marvellous new version 2 and how easy it is to reassemble that. Make sure everything's located in the holes, 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 hole, 4 hole, 5 hole, yeah? And then that is it. Now, if you do take the air nozzle out, okay, there is a little notch on the bottom of the air nozzle that has to be pointing down. There's a locating hole on the tappet plate as well for that. That's if you do take that out. Remember, long ones in the long holes, short ones in the short holes. These are T10s, remember. Tighten him up. I'd like to do it so it's just nip up and then just a tiny little nip. So then just do it up till it stops and then a tiny little nip just to make sure. Right, nothing, doesn't need massive amounts. Do it up till it stops, then a little nip. Do it up till it stops, and just a little nip. Alright, and don't forget the Phillips that goes under there. This one's countersunk, so it sits out of the way. Do it up, a little nip. Right, now obviously we took the tappet plate spring out earlier, didn't we, while we were doing that. Okay, so that's obviously loose. Tappet plate spring goes through the version 7 M14 style, people will recognise it there, little hole window thing, so it makes it nice and easy. Just poke him in there. I like to just encourage him to go in the nice little thing. Yeah, so now he's in there. Ta-da! Simple as. Righty, now we're going to do the lockout parts, you know, for the lockout mechanism. Notice how that one is now as it was, facing up. I think it was up. Was it up? Let's hope so. Right, now we poke this top one in. That just sits there. And then this one, this bar here goes inside with the selector switch, because this is what locks out the trigger. Sits over its locating hole, but also over this one, okay? Like so. Once that's in, we then take the little spring, which we're not going to lose, promise me now. I don't have to start making these bad boys. Right. Little notch at the bottom there. There's a little bit there. Poke it in that, and then over the hole. And then the top one is what springs that latch backwards and forwards. There's nothing difficult about this. It's just take your time, and it's fiddly. So just take your time. Right, I like to hold in with my nail over that hole. Because he'll try and move off it. And then get the screw that was in there. Poke him in his hole while you're holding down the screw. The springs, sorry, while you're holding down the spring, because it's obviously under tension there. Just screw him down while you're holding down the spring. So that way the spring doesn't get caught, and obviously you can now see it's under tension there, and this is obviously pinged back now. See? Right, nothing too tight on that one, so just nip it up just like we do the others. Right, gearbox all done, except now minus the spring. You see the piston in there. Notice how it's on the runners. If it's not on the runners, you've done wrong. You're a bad disassembly person. Now go fix it. Now we move on to the next one. We want to locate it back into the receiver, okay? And remember, put the wires first. That go through the back. This one's where the handle goes. Okay. Slide him in. I like to put it back into safe, but you've also got to remember the position of this thing, because this has obviously been moved now. So move this into safe as well, and then it should just sit in like that, okay? Obviously just make sure the selector's in the right place, and then make sure it adjusts afterwards, okay? Now remember our tilt technique. Tilt it up again, alright? This is important that it goes the right way around. This, okay, has this lever which is there. Now this lever has to go between the latch and the gearbox, so it has to sit on this latch here. So you've got to kind of pop it in there, which if you popped it in there before you put the gearbox in, it would be underneath it, okay? But it's important that if you want to maintain the lockout feature, that when you slide this in there, come on, right, that it goes over the bar. It just means that as this thing pops up here and gets knocked up, it's now going to knock this out, okay, to signify that it's obviously locked out. And then as you push that back in, then that obviously knocks the bar back down and then gets the gun going again. Right, now that that's all in place, let's locate the gearbox in with the locating pin for the trigger here. So move it into full auto so that it moves the gearbox backwards. See the hole now going all the way through? Pin in the hole. Wiggle it about, push it in there. Just keep wiggling about the gearbox until it slides in, and now that's located, okay? That's the only thing really that locates it, apart from